Right, Murph, into the thing and let's look further, right? Welcome to the cockpit. Now, can we all see this nice and clear, or do we need to change the time of it? And I think we're sound. Bring the sun back here, look, so we can see what's going on. Yeah, how's this looking? Is this better? So a bit of cockpit familiarization. You'll see that we have well, English markings. That's very handy. Or you can turn them onto German. There are some features here that we can turn on and off. This aircraft features a very handy EFB from Flying Iron, which is always nice, right? So there's a click spot over here I should be able to find. Where to hide it? There it is. So we'll bring up the tablet here and we'll just have a quick look, right? Now again, everything here is probably subject to change, or they're still tweaking it, and we can have a look at all those things. But if you're familiar with the Flying Iron stuff, well, checklist, V-speeds, live data, stats, loadout, it has its own inbuilt autopilot. The workshop, the aircraft is very much alive. I mean, you can break things, wear things out. There's all sorts of, you need to mind this plane. However, if you don't feel that you want to deal with all the, managing everything in terms of power and how gently you want to be, well, you can turn all that off. Stress and failures, you can turn it off by a flick of a button, or turn it on by the flick of a button, right? I'm going to leave it in the unrealistic, right, if that makes sense, only because just in case something doesn't work, or, there's every chance I'll break it. We have a couple of other options here. You can replace the GPS with a gun sight. You can, the canopy, which is interesting. So this is the original canopy. But later on during the war, and as these things fly today, you'll often see them flying at Duxford. They've replaced the canopy. It's a more kind of a easier to look out and view canopy, right? So there's a couple of changes there. We can hide the pilot, hide the control columns, so on and so on and so on. The ground handling on this is it's pretty cool. And we have an option here. We can replace German with English. Just by a click of a button, you'll see it all here. Everything goes to German for the authenticity, right? It's pretty cool, right? So we'll leave it in English because my German is about as good as your Irish, I'd say, right? So we'll
dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
We'll get rid of the tablet. So what I want us to focus on here is going to be the sounds, right? The sounds. Now we can open the canopy. There she blows. So you get an idea of the sounds. Flying Iron do very, very immersive sounds, right? So we'll close the canopy. Get down there, Julia. Now, there's also another characteristic of the aircraft in the real world. It was the seat. The seating position actually reclined, right? Now, I don't know, was that an intentional thing or just was it designed for comfort? I don't actually know, but what it allowed pilots to do, or the advantage it gave pilots, because that seat, the back of the chair could recline a little bit, it meant they were able to pull more G's and not risk passing out. Whatever, leaning back or leaning forward. Very, very interesting. But anyway, I digress. So, right, bit of familiarization. Left-hand side, what we can see down here, well, we have our flaps on the outer wheel, I suppose, and we have our aileron trim on the inner wheel. And if this, see if I move that, see the way you have like the indicator down here, see this +1, all right? So I'm going to set this into position 1 for takeoff, right? That's what I'm going for. Next up, we have our throttle. And if you notice, it's a single unit. Where's the mixture? It's automatic. Where's the prop? It's automatic. This thing was way ahead of its time, right? Now, you might say, well, Murph, if you can't deal with mixture, well, how are you going to manage to stop the plugs from fouling on the ground? Well, they actually have an anti-fouling plug, which is this guy right here. So part of your run-up, you would pull this gadget out and then put it back in again, and that's enough to clear the plugs, any build-up of carbon, and so on and so forth. All right? The animation on the chain is beautiful, isn't it? So what we're going to do, we're going to open our fuel tanks up here. We're going to bring our mags up. And we're going to head and get some electrical power into this machine now as well, right? So over on the right hand side we have our electrical panel. You can see everything is all labeled, so you can read where everything is. For the handiness of flight simmers, and again, if you just want to hop into this aircraft, if you just want to hop in and press buttons and just go fly, there's like this master switch here that turns all the electrics on. Click of a button, ding, it's all ready on, good to go, right? Or we can go through them step by step by step. All right, so buttons. And if you want to turn stuff off, hit the red switch. Fairly straightforward, yeah? So I'm going to turn a heap of stuff on. Don't mind me now for the minute. And, if anything explodes, we'll blame someone else. All right? Spearsy, it's good to see you. Welcome in. 11 months, dude. Thank you very, very much indeed. All right, okay, so looking down here on the side, we can see fuel pressure and quantity. That's looking good. I also want to draw your attention to the lighting. It's like this beautiful infrared lighting. You guys see that on the dash there? Isn't that gorgeous? So we'll bring it down a little bit. Now this is going to get loud, lads, so you just have to bear with me, right? And you can see I have a modern radio in there as well.
Hello there.
There are options that we can use from the tablet. All right. Welcome in, lads. Thank you so much for all the follows. Very kind of you. Now, quick check before we go here. Parker brake is on, and we're going to go for a start. We have a gun sight as well. We can turn this devil on or off. Hear the sounds. And there's our gun sight. Over on the left-hand side, this area here, well, these are indicators letting you know
Hello there.
your ammunition. Now, they don't do anything. You can't fire the weapons. But it's modeled to show you that's what it is. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Right, so what I want to do, I want to start it up, right? So bring down that. Open the throttle about 1/4 of an inch. Yes. Everything here looks good. Oxygen, we'll go to that now in a moment. I'm going to open this guy. And then once we get hydraulic pressure into the aircraft, they'll open, right? So fingers crossed and I don't break it. Open up the starter switch. We're going to be messing with that now in a moment. And we're going to hit the energizer. Are we ready? Prepare for beautiful sounds. Mind your ears now. Right? And let's give it a blast. Right! Let's have a listen. See, like, all the shaking, vibration, animations. There's no other add-ons doing that. That's this aircraft, right? It sounds insanely good. Beautiful. So we have a couple of things to keep our eye on here, right? One thing I want to show you. See this MW50 switch? MW means methanol and water. Think of it as like the go faster switch. And that'll add in, wait for it, about 300 horsepower, probably more. I think it's like 350, an additional 300 horsepower into the engine because it's using this water methanol based charge. It's quite incredible, right? Gerald is here. Hello, Gerald. 9 months, man. Thank you very, very much indeed. Great to see you. Right, so what I want to do, I want to try and take off. Now, the characteristics, ladies and gentlemen, of this machine. Hang on, we'll open up the old oxygen. So we can see our oxygen indicator is flashing, right? Now you can add tanks, drop tanks to this aircraft as well. You can release them. We won't worry about that. To learn this plane, just fly it without any additional weight. Just to learn, right? But, as I said, when you want to fly this thing, you have to apply pretty much full aileron to the right. And as soon as that wheel lifts at the back, you have to immediately react to it. You'll see what happens, but it's a characteristic of the real aircraft. They've modeled that in. In actual fact, their timing is spot on. So let's let's see what happens, right? The ground physics, by the way, are custom built by Flying Iron. They have their own ground physics built into this aircraft. Just, you know. Wish me luck, lads, will you? Did I set flaps there? I did. No, it didn't. Right, hang on, Murph. How do we do this? Bit of Toby eye action. Yes. So before we go, let's go for a notch of flaps. There they blow. Checking on the ailerons. We're looking good. Elevator. Rudder. Right, okay. Flight controls are free and correct. Park and brake coming off. Teeny tiny amounts of power. Now, the elevator and rudder, they need the airflow from the prop in order to be able to move the aircraft properly, yeah? Now, you can turn off Flying Iron's custom coded stuff, and you can make it a little bit simple, meaning that your rudder has a lot of authority, or you can use toe brakes. Now, as you can see, she ain't the easiest machine to kind of see in front of you. Traditionally, a lot of these warbirds would have zigzagged when they were taxiing. It wasn't because they looked cool, which it did, but I meant the pilots then could be kind of looking around. Don't go on the grass, Murphy, you big idiot. It meant that the pilots kind of knew what they were doing and knew where they were going. You know what I mean? So, quick check on what we're doing and where we're going, right? What do you think so far, lads? Pretty, isn't it? Okay, get ourselves lined up here. Another thing to note, never try and take these divils off with a crosswind. It gets fierce messy. Fierce messy. Okay, so just going to apply the brakes here before we go. Now, we're going to use this anti-foul or defoul for the plugs. Do you hear a coffin? Listen. Do you hear it? Right, we're clear now, right? We're good to go. Flaps are set. And, well, let's hope it all goes terribly well. So, tail wheel lock has been engaged. Power coming in. Don't exceed 1.2. Full right aileron. And a lot of rudder. Let's see what happens here, friends. Airspeed's coming up. There's that tail wheel up. Yep. Did you see that immediate twitch? It'll catch you, lads. It'll catch you. Okay, positive ready to climb. Bring the gear in. Bring our flaps in. Speed is coming up. And let's close the rods. Alright. So I'm going to spend a bit of time trying to get my trim reset because my button isn't working right. And now bear with me, lads. That's about right. So I'm going to set up a bit of trim here as well. Get the aircraft somewhat relaxed. There we go. Takeoffs are optional, landings are not, indeed. So we're just kind of cruising here. So you can see, right, from the RPM of the engine, we're just under, 2,000. You can see our manifold pressure, we're kind of cruising, and our speed is about 300 kilometers. What I want to show you now is, well, how does this turbo system work, right? So we're going to increase the power. She's going to hold it around 1.4. See over here? Now watch this. So it's using that methanol and water injection system, and it applies so much power, right? Let's check it out from the outside. think? Isn't it cool? It's stunning, lads. Absolutely stunning. So I'm still trying to get me trim sorted. Hang on. Let's see, can we calm it all down now? There we go. That's a little bit calmer. So to give you an idea of the lights, or the interior lighting at night, right? We'll have a quick look at this, right? Need I say any more, lads? Look at the state of that. Isn't that something? It is truly beautiful. And those lights aren't even on full tilt, look. Where's the switch? It's in the dark. We can bring them up a bit. Isn't that awesome? And we have our gun sight down right in front of us as well. I mean, what a machine, right? What a beautiful, beautiful machine. So we'll change the time of day, bring the lighting back down to something kind of dramatic. You know the way... I'm not dramatic at all, you know me, lads, don't you? Now, don't hit the ground, Murphy. Whatever you do, Murphy, don't hit the ground, right? And what I'm going to attempt to do now is make it look kind of fancy and dreamy, as we like to do, right? So if I press a button here, I'm going to go with one of these, right? Bear with me. What do you think of this? So, due to release, as I said, this coming Wednesday, lads. She's due to come out this coming Wednesday. So, I hope you found this showcase a nice kind of introduction, a nice preview for what you can expect from this upcoming release by FlyingIron Simulations. As I said, it's not the final release. You know, if there's any bugs, I found one or two there even during this flight. Very, very small aesthetic things just to tidy up. But isn't it something? It's a beautiful, beautiful aircraft. And the sounds, lads. Like, if we turn on the this injection again. I haven't touched the throttle now, right? Let's have a listen outside. Just to hear the difference. And then from the interior, you'll hear that air and push from the water. Listen. Incredible. Absolutely incredible, isn't it? There's a lot of flames in the dark. Ah, it's stunning, lads. I'm so excited for this airplane. It looks stunning. And anyone who's into the warbirds, I mean, this is definitely going to be on your list, right? It's a stunning, stunning machine. So I spotted a little airport down there. I wonder, can I land this? What do you reckon, lads? That's what I thought. Right, let's see what we can do. So, where's that airport? Right there somewhere. Now, there's going to be a couple of other little surprises the Flying Iron are going to do, but I'll leave that until you guys pick it up, right? So our speed here is about 300 kilometers. Hey, Scundog is here. 6 months, man. Thank you very, very much indeed. Cheers, man. Right, we're going to try and land this. Let's look at the gear animation. We're going too fast. Hang on a second. There we go. Stunning, right? Right, Murphy, don't crash this thing. I imagine these are expensive now. They're like a collector's. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I thought. It's really hard to see. Easy. Lead her off. Oh! Oh, Jesus! Right, get that speed back. Don't nose over, Murphy. Engine, I've lost the engine. That's the anti-fouling. Look at that. Yeah, 100%. We didn't prop strike. We're grand. We just lost the engine. She doesn't like the lower RPMs. It's exactly what we meant to do. It was the tactical approach. Yes, the tactical approach. Get that wheel lock off me. Get ourselves turned here and get off the runway. Arrest the pilot. What do you think, though? The engine's grand. We can start it up. It's just I let the RPMs kind of die. There's no real governor in it. Governor? What are you talking about, Murph? Yeah, governor. I'll just hit the one little switch to turn off everything. And that's her. Up you devil. There we have it, lads.